Hey, how's it going? What's up? We are live on this Monday morning of April 7th. I'm Matt with So Cincy and the Bible Department podcast. This is episode 61. We're going to be in Luke chapter 12 today. And if you want to follow along, you can visit 5daybiblereading.com. That's not what their website looks like. That's their next thing. That's what the website looks like. You can pick up their plan. Okay, I think we're coming back through now. I bumped the thing and it's just not. Come on. What are we doing here? There we go. All right, I'm in this frame now. We're good. But you can go to their website. You can read the entire Bible. They do the Old Testament, New Testament combined over the course of 5 days a week, and you can read their plan. We're actually 2 weeks behind. I looked to see where we were and compared to where you should be if you were a good person. I'm joking with that. But if you were good in following up with things, for the week of April 6th, they're actually in Luke 22. So we're 10 chapters behind, but that's okay. That's okay. Oh, by the way, I have a guest. I just saw. Whisper. There he is. See? That's the cat. Cat's doing good. So, want to come over here, buddy? Maybe. Oh, he might come over. He might come hang out. But anyways, so I think that's it. Yeah, we're 10 days behind. That's okay. We'll be all right. So let's go ahead and get into Luke chapter 12. Luke 12 reads, if we go to the very top, there we go. Meanwhile, the crowds grew until thousands were milling about and stepping on each other. Jesus turned first to his disciples and warned them, beware of the yeast of the Pharisees, their hypocrisy. The time is coming when everything, get out of here, cat hair, when everything that is covered up will be revealed, and all that is secret will be made known to all. Whatever you have said in the dark will be heard in the light, and what you have whispered behind closed doors will be shouted from the housetops from all to hear. Dear friends, don't be afraid of those who want to kill your body. They cannot do any more to you after that, but I'll tell you whom to fear. Fear God, who has the power to kill you and then throw you into hell. Yes, he's the one to fear. What is the price of 5 sparrows? 2 copper coins? Yet God does not forget a single one of them, and the very hairs on your head are all numbered, so don't be afraid. You are more valuable to God than a whole flock of sparrows. I tell you the truth. Everyone who acknowledges me publicly here on earth, the Son of Man will also acknowledge in the presence of God's angels. But anyone who denies me here on earth will be denied before God's angels. Anyone who speaks against the Son of Man can be forgiven, but anyone who blasphemes the Holy Spirit will not be forgiven. And when you are brought to trial in the synagogues and before rulers and authorities, don't worry about how to defend yourself or what to say, for the Holy Spirit will teach you at that time what needs to be said. Then someone called from the crowd, Teacher, please tell my brother to divide our father's estate with me. Jesus replied, Friend, who made me a judge over you to decide such things as that? Then he said, Beware, guard against every kind of greed. Life is not measured by how much you own. Then he told them a story. A rich man had a fertile farm that produced fine crops. He said to himself, What should I do? I don't have room for all my crops. Then he said, I know. I'll tear down my barns and build bigger ones. Then I'll have room enough to store all my wheat and other goods. And I'll sit back and say to myself, My friend, you have enough stored away for years to come. Now take it easy. Eat, drink, and be merry. But God said to him, You fool, you will die this very night. Then who will get everything you worked for? Yes, a person is a fool to store up earthly wealth, but not have a rich relationship with God. Then, turning to his disciples, Jesus said, "That is why I tell you not to worry about everyday life, whether you have enough food to eat or enough clothes to wear. For life is more than food, and your body more than clothing. Look at the ravens. They don't plant or harvest or store food in barns, for God feeds them. And you are far more valuable to him than any birds. Can all your worries add a single moment to your life? And if worry can't accomplish a little thing like that, what's the use of worrying over big things? Look at the lilies and how they grow. They don't work or make their clothing, yet Solomon in all his glory was not dressed as beautifully as they are. And if God cares so wonderfully for flowers that are here today and thrown into the fire tomorrow, he will certainly care for you. Why do you have so little faith? And don't be concerned about what to eat and what to drink. Don't worry about such things. These things dominate the thoughts of unbelievers all over the world, but your Father already knows your needs. Seek the kingdom of God above all else, and he will give you everything you need. So don't be afraid, little flock, for it gives your Father great happiness to give you the kingdom. Sell your possessions and give to those in need. This will store up treasure for you in heaven, and the purses of heaven never get old or develop holes. Your treasure will be safe. No thief can steal it, and no moth can destroy it. Wherever your treasure is, there the desires of your heart will also be. Be dressed for service and keep your lamps burning, as though you were waiting for your master to return from the wedding feast. Then you will be ready to open the door and let him in the moment he arrives and knocks. The servants who are ready and waiting for his return will be rewarded. I tell you the truth, he himself will seat them, put on an apron, and serve them as they sit and eat. He may come in the middle of the night or just before dawn, but whenever he comes, he will reward the servants who are ready. Understand this. If a homeowner knew exactly when a burglar was coming, he would not permit his house to be broken into. You also must be ready all the time, for the Son of Man will come when least expected. Peter asked, Lord, is that illustration just for us or for everyone? And the Lord replied, a faithful, sensible servant is one to whom the master can give the responsibility of managing his other household servants and feeding them. If the master returns and finds that the servant has done a good job, there will be a reward. I tell you the truth, the master will put that servant in charge of all he owns. But what if the servant thinks, my master won't be back for a while, and he begins beating the other servants, partying, and getting drunk? The master will return unannounced and unexpected, and he will cut the servant in pieces and banish him with the unfaithful. And a servant who knows what the master wants but isn't prepared and doesn't carry out those instructions will be severely punished. But someone who does not know and then does something wrong will be punished only lightly. When someone has been given much, much will be required in return. And when someone has been entrusted with much, even more will be required. I have come to set the world on fire, and I wish it were already burning. I have a terrible baptism of suffering ahead of me, and I'm under a heavy burden until it is accomplished. Do you think I have come to bring peace to the earth? No, I have come to divide people against each other. From now on, families will be split apart, 3 in favor of me and 2 against, or 2 in favor and 3 against. And father will be divided against son, and son against father, mother against daughter, and daughter against mother, and mother-in-law against daughter-in-law, and daughter-in-law against mother-in-law. Then Jesus returned to the crowd and said, when you see clouds beginning to form in the west, you say, here comes a shower. And you are right. When the south wind blows, you say, today will be a scorcher. And it is. You fools. You know how to interpret the weather signs of the earth and sky, but you don't know how to interpret the present times. Why can't you decide for yourselves what is right? When you are on the way to court with your accuser, try to settle the matter before you get there. Otherwise, your accuser may drag you before the judge, who will hand you over to an officer, who will throw you into prison. And if that happens, you won't be free again until you have paid the very last penny. And that is Luke chapter 12. Woo! It's a doozy, man. All right. We're going to go back in Luke 12. We're going to look at one thing. even though there's so much. Here's something that Jesus does, which is always unique. We're going to be looking at verse 13. There we go. Verse 13, someone calls from the crowd. He says, "Teacher, please tell my brother to divide our father's estate with me." And here's how Jesus responds. He says, "Friend, who made me a judge over you to decide such things as that?" Jesus responds here with this question, knowing that in this time, people would often go to their rabbi looking for settlements and disputes. So that was very common. So this guy understood Jesus as someone with authority. Jesus has been around long enough for this guy to have established that, okay, this Jesus guy might be onto something. He probably knows some stuff. Let me because he's not asking about a spiritual matter. Often we would see that. Yeah, I can't think of any other examples. But if you go back in the previous chapters, you will see people asking Jesus for perfect example. While they're around, it's always like one of the Pharisees or one of the leaders would try to trick Jesus, and he would say like, which is the greatest commandment? You know, he's looking to spiritual. They're looking to spiritual authorities, but in this one, he's looking to a earth. He sees Jesus as this earthly authority. Like Jesus can do something about this. And the way Jesus responds is that he says, "Who has made me a judge over you to decide such things as that?" But the reality is that Jesus knows it's God. Like God has made him the judge over things, but not necessarily like you can apply earthly authority to God's and Jesus' teachings. But the ultimate judge is God and Jesus. And I think in this chapter he talks about, let me go back to my main camera real quick. He talk about, don't worry about who can really end you. Where was that at? Yeah. Verse 4. Right? This is almost like a reaction. Like, dear friends, don't be afraid of those who want to kill your body. They cannot do any more to you after that. But I'll tell you whom to fear. Fear God, who has the power to kill you and throw you into hell. He's the one to fear. Okay? So that's that. So Jesus is like, this is the ultimate judge. Like there's someone there. And so he goes on and he takes the earthly matter. He takes the estate, and we don't know where this guy's coming from, but he gives the warning, and he looks to a spiritual matter over this physical matter that this guy presents. So the guy could just be saying like, divide my father's estate just because he's in charge and I haven't got anything. And he says, guard against every kind of greed. Life is not measured by how much you own. Life is not measured by how much you own. Here's what he means by every kind of greed. I think I've shared this before. I know I've talked about this in previous live streams long ago, maybe a year or so ago. There was, they don't really do it anymore. There was an Instagram account called I wonder if it's still active. It was called Preachers and Sneakers. If you don't know about Preachers and Sneakers, let's see. When was the last time they posted something? Yeah, it's been like September 24th. But anyways, so they would post pictures of pastors, Bible teachers, whoever else, speaking from stages in churches and things like that. And then they would show, they would demonstrate. I wonder if I can pull it up so that if you're watching this, you can see what I mean. And then they would, let's see if we can. Oh, here we go. Okay, cool. No? Okay, we're not gonna be able to do that. Okay, never mind. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So they would show someone speaking from the stage, and then they would point out the stuff that they were wearing. Often it went to shoes, but sometimes it was necklaces, sometimes it was belts, different things like that. Here we go. I'm able to pull it up. So this is just what it would be. Would just be, I can't make this any bigger. But they would then put the shoe. So this is the guy. This is the person where I don't know who that is. This is the shoe they would be wearing, and then it's a Jordan 1 Retro High, which retails at that time for $1,000. And people would get upset about it. People would get upset. People get upset about it for two ways. One, it would be, oh look, here's the greedy preacher wearing an expensive shoe. Could you imagine what you could do with $1,000? Like how many people you could help if you gave away your $1,000? There was that side. Then there was the other side that was like defending this person to the death, where they would say things like, oh, they probably got this money from this, and like they would excuse the behavior. And so you have these two sides fighting. And at first, I kind of sided with the individuals who was like, yeah, like you could do something. Now, $1,000 pair of sneakers, you have to understand sneaker culture first. To me, not a big deal. But there would be other things. Now, that was how I thought about it. And then I had a conversation with God. And God was like, and this was a while ago. And God was like, he told me, he said, Matt, why are you getting upset with people with all these shoes, with all these different shoes, all these different Gucci belts, Prada belts, Birkin bags, Hermes? I don't even know if I'm saying these things correctly. That's how broke I am. My net worth cannot allow me to say it like the proper phrase or the proper enunciation of these words. Anyways, but God had a conversation with me. He's like, Matt, you do anything and everything that you want to do with whatever money you have. You get Chipotle all the time. You get Chick-fil-A all the time. You buy enough shoes, and this is when I was into more buying shoes. But I would always buy like $100 shoes. Like it wasn't like anything crazy. But even still, $100 is nothing to sneeze at, right? And God was like, brother, like there is no difference. Like just because you're not spending $1,000 on shoes, but you'll buy 10 shoes at $100 a piece to equal $1,000 shoes, like there's no difference here. There's no difference here. And what Jesus says is guard against every kind of greed. So there's the greed that you of what you have and you want more. There's the greed that you downplay what you have while doing more. And I won't say it. Should I say it? Yeah, let me say it. Let me confess something. I'm a horrible person. Can I be honest real quick with y'all? Sometimes, a lot of times, see how I'm downplaying it? A lot of times, I will pull up past people on the street asking for money because I don't want to look at them. I know. It's terrible. But this is what the Bible is teaching about. Guard against every kind of greed. Could I reach out and give that person a few dollars that I have in my pocket? Absolutely. There's the greed that you don't have, but you want what other people have. There's all types of greed. All kinds of greed. And Jesus goes on and talks more. But I want to pop down to the last bit. I think Jesus wraps this whole thing up at the end of this chapter. He says in verse 57, why can't you decide for yourselves what is right? What is it about us that you can't decide for yourselves what is right? Why do you need me to judge your affairs? If you are changed by the message of the gospel, you should be able to decide for yourselves what is right. There's enough message in the gospel. Not for them then. They got bits and pieces here and there. But we got the full thing. So we, in 2025, April 7th, we have enough for life pertaining to life and godliness to be able to know that we can decide for ourselves in matters of what is right. Not right in our sight, right according to God. And he lays it out. When you are on the way to court with your accuser, settle the matter before you get there. Otherwise, your accuser may drag you before the judge, who will hand you over to an officer, who will throw you into that prison. And if that happens, you won't be free again until you've paid the very last penny. So this could be the result of the other brother, the guy that asked the question originally. He could be in debt. There could very well could be the reason that the brother's not, because he's owed something. And so this is what Jesus. I honestly don't know. But there's a reason that is there. And so, if you know what is right, guard against the greed that keeps you from addressing what is right. Because greed is more than just money. Greed is about what you don't have or what you're envious. It may not be anything to do with money. It may deal with relationships. It may deal with your physical body. It might deal with emotional things. there's a reason why Jesus says guard against every kind of greed. And so we'll leave it at that with Luke chapter 12. So I hope you guys have a great Monday, a great week. Be sure, if you're listening on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Yeah. And if you're listening on Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, thanks again. If you're listening on YouTube, thanks for listening and for tuning in. And we'll see you tomorrow for Luke 13. This is episode 61, Bible Department Podcast. We'll see you. Bye. Have a good one.